Hello, hello. Trying to get everything set up. Come on in. There we are. Come on in. Have a seat. Let me get this. Hang on one sec, and then I'll be ready to go. How's everybody doing today? All right, let me see if I can pin this to the top. Edit. Nope, it does not give me the option. That's because I'm not in as Jen's Den Art. Hello, Miss Connie and Miss Shay. Hello, Miss Cindy. I was trying to pin. Oh, I do not want to pin that. I was trying to pin the link to the Christmas Cabin. Cindy, I was trying to pin the link to the Christmas Cabin pop-up paint party registration to this live, but it will not let me, and I think I know why. It's because I went live as Ginger Liqueur, not as Jen's Den Art. And so I would have to be in Jen's Den Art to do that. So tell me hello. Tell me hi. Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween. Who's doing some trick-or-treating tonight? Let me get my microphone on so y'all can hear me. All right. Now you can probably hear me better. Okay. Y'all, one of my favorite things to paint are trees. All different types of trees. They're hard. They're not easy, but I just love painting them. So I'm really excited about this painting, or about practicing this painting today, because I'm going to have a lot of fun showing you some different things. So let's take a look at, let me see if I can take this down. I'm going to try to show you. Let's take a look at what we're going to be practicing today. Now, regardless of whether you are joining the pop-up paint party or not, this is being broadcast to everyone. So do not feel obligated to, I mean, everybody gets this for free is what I'm saying. Let me get my big butt out of the camera. Okay, so this is what I want to show you. The trees that I have here are mainly, I guess you would call them like ponderosa pines or fir trees, or look, there's a little Christmas tree right there. They all pretty much look like Christmas trees. Okay, so those are the ones that we are focusing on today. And you see in the background, I made those look like they're really far away. Okay, so that is what we're going to do today. We're going to pull those samples out of that. In that painting, y'all, I just love that painting so much. It's one of my favorites that I've ever done. So what we're going to do is we're going to practice those. And we're going to see how we come up with that. Hello, hello. It's rainy there? Oh, no. Don't be rainy. We don't like rainy. Actually, sometimes rain is a good thing, depending on the situation that you're in. Like, we're pretty dry here, like really dry. So probably a good thing. So everybody should be coming on now. Hello, Wilson and Becky and Elizabeth and Marianne and Dawn and Doris. And some of y'all, I can't see what your name is. I actually have Michael outside. He just got off of work, and I have him framing a couple of things for me. So if you have not heard, we also have a live Facebook sale going on. I'll give y'all more information about that later. Thursday and Friday. We're having a live Facebook sale going on. So let's talk about what we're going to do today. I am going to be using, I'm actually going to be using a couple of different things. This is just a canvas board. I love using these. I find I paint on them a lot. It's an 8x10. And I think I'm going to do it this way. I think I'm going to paint tall trees because I like tall trees. So we're going to use this, and then I might also use like I have a mixed media pad. You know, this is just going to be practice. But while we're practicing, I'm going to talk to you about the colors that I have chosen for this practice and these types of trees. So the first color, and probably one of the most important colors, is the dark green that you use. And I'm going to give you a couple of options here. Here we go. Here's another one. And I'm going to show you my preference for these trees. So let's talk about colors of greens. This one I have right here is a golden brand, and it is called Jenkins Green, Jenkins, Jenkins Green. This is probably one of my favorite greens. You can see how pretty that is. Okay, it's a really, really dark, almost black green. Okay, this one is called Sap Green Hue, and it is also a golden brand. I'm not sure what its opacity. Okay, this one's transparent. They're both transparent. They're transparent paints. Let me show you what this one looks like. Okay, they're very, very, very similar. Very, very similar. You can see this one actually looks more opaque, but it's not. It does have a transparency. All right, so this one's got a little bit more of a blue tint to it. Can y'all see the differences in those? Let me bring it down. Oh, let me get the camera to focus. It might be too close because I think I have it set to focus, like not to change the focus. So you can see these two. This one's beautiful. It's like a really, really wintry green. That is your sap green. Okay, and then here's the Jenkins green. Then I also have a Winsor & Newton. This is a chromium oxide. Now this is more of your grass green color. Okay, see how many different greens you can have here? So this one, I would want to add black to that. But if you want that dark, the reason why I'm saying I would add black is because if you want that super dark green, like one of these, and this one doesn't show it, but I'm going to show it to you again. It's almost like a black. If you want one of these super dark greens here, then, and you don't have one, then I'm going to show you something that you can do. You can take this, which is just more like a grass green color, and it could be a craft paint. I just don't have any more craft paints around. I don't buy them anymore. And look what it does. It makes it that pretty. Now this is an opaque color. Yeah, this is opaque. Okay. So this one's even more beautiful. Look at that, how pretty. So you have a lot of options for your dark green that you're going to use, but you just need something in this area. Here's another one. This is another sap green, but it's called Sap Green Permanent, and it is a Liquitex brand. It's just a little bit brighter. You can see that it's closer to this one right here. Okay, so depending on the brand that you use, you're going to get a variety of different greens. So make your decision on what green you want to use. Okay, you didn't know that colors, that you could get this specific about colors, right? So decide what green you're going to use. I would highly suggest you use something in these, you know, in this tone right here that's got that really dark, almost black color. Okay, and I'm going to show you. I'm actually, because I put all of these paints on my palette already, I'm going to show you how I'm just going to use all of these for this practice because I have them out. So since I have them out and I have them on my palette, then I don't want to waste them, because y'all know these paints that I use are not the cheapest paints in the world. Okay, so that's the base color. That's going to be our dark color. And what we're going to do is we're going to use dark colors. Then we're going to use what I like to call our medium tones. And then we're going to use our light tones. And to get to our light tones, you can do one of two things. You can either take your base tones that you're using, which is your darkest colors. You can add yellow to them and even a little bit of white to them to make them lighter, but you definitely want to add some yellow because we want to get to this light olive green color as well. Okay, we want to get to this light olive green. So I just buy the light olive green because I just think it's such a pretty color, and I like to buy it. I don't like to have to mix my my yellows with my greens because I use so much green. I really, really do. You know, almost every painting that we do has a lot of green in it. So now let's talk about our paint brushes, and then you'll see what I'm talking about with all of the colors as we go along. So the best paintbrush that I like to use, and there's so many varieties here, I like to use filbert brushes for my trees. Okay, I like to use filbert brushes for my trees. I have all kind of, can y'all see all? No, y'all can't. I have all kind of paintbrushes sitting in my water right now. This one needs to be clean. It's getting old and dilapidated on me. My husband laughs at me because I say dilapidated wrong. Michael says I mispronounce it. But you know, that Cajun accent comes out and I don't know what I'm saying. All right, so another thing that I like to use to make trees is old paintbrushes that are like all flared out. I'm sure y'all all have some old paintbrushes laying around. Like here's another one, okay? This one's not as soft, but see how it's lost its pointedness. I love using old paintbrushes for a lot of things, especially my style of painting because I stay really loose in my paintings anyway. So I don't see any more that are just old paintbrushes hanging around. Okay, but this one, y'all, this one's a filbert brush and an old paintbrush. Y'all see how it's flared out? I don't know if y'all can see that. Let me show you right here. See how that's already, it's all flared out. It has no shape left to it. It's just really, that's probably my favorite brush because I love all of these old paintbrushes that have been used over and over and they've lost their, you know, their perfectness in them. And I am perfectly imperfect with my trees. Okay, so there's a lot of different ways to paint trees. I'm going to show you the way I paint them. And we're just going to go from there. I am going to start, I think I'm going to start with this one. No, I'm going to start with this one. Let's start with this big filbert brush. And I'm going to make sure that my paintbrush is moist. I don't want it wet. I just want it damp. So I'm going to wipe it off. Just get it damp, and then I'm going to wipe it off. All right. Hi, Sheila. Glad you're here. Am I missing any questions? Am I missing any questions? Let me know if I have any questions. Okay. Let me fix it just a little bit and get it perfect. All right. So I'm going to grab my greens. Just some kind of dark green. And I'm going to pull that paint onto that paintbrush. And by pulling, I mean I'm grabbing this little pile of paint and I'm just going right on the edge of the paint and I'm just pulling it onto my paintbrush. Okay, I have this color right here. I have all these different ones. You decide what color green you want to use. I'm just going to grab and pull all of that paint on there. And I actually start at the top. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hardly touch, and I'm going to tap. I'm going to start tapping. And now remember, we're making like our fir trees. And see how I'm kind of making like a little umbrella, basically? And I'm not being perfect. All of my branches kind of have like a little umbrella, and that's what the filbert brush does for you. It already gives you that little edge right there with the little curve. So because we're painting kind of like our Christmas trees, it works perfect. And I do not have any specific pattern. I'm just randomly placing my paintbrush. And when I feel like my paintbrush is starting to leave a lot of white spots in it, I just go back and I fill it up. And I keep on going. I did not make a line for my tree. Some of you might need a line to keep you, like straight up and down. Like you might want to take another brush. Let me just show you this, just in case you want a line. You might just want to take another brush, any kind of brush that's going to help you make a straight line. And you might just want to take it and go straight all the way down. And that kind of helps you guide you in your direction to make your tree straight up and down. So it's not a bad idea to do that. We're going to make a couple of different trees. I'm going to make one right here, and then I'm going to make another one right here. So let me go ahead and do that. That will probably help you to see where you're going. Now, not all trees go straight up and down, but, we like to try to pretend they do, and like all of our trees are perfect. So, okay, so that's going to be our first layer of our tree. And I'm going to keep on going. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. I don't like what's happening here. And this is just a personal preference. I'm going back and covering some of that black up there. I don't want that to show so much. This is just a personal preference. I don't like the look of dot, 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 dot. You can tell I'm just pressing a paintbrush over and over and over. I don't like that look. It just looks too fake to me. So what I start doing with my paintbrush is I start letting it kind of wiggle a little bit on the surface as well. So I just do some quick little wiggles, and it kind of takes away that monotony of seeing those dot, 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 dot areas. All right? See, I don't have enough paint on my brush, so it's not coming off right. Now, this is a skinny, sorry. Hang on.
Be old man. I've been thinking about this all.
Sorry, y'all. Sorry, y'all. I had a phone call on my phone, and it just went out. So I'm hoping y'all are back. Can y'all still see me? Let me see if I can change that. Let me see if I can change my settings on my phone real quick. No, I can't. So, okay. Hopefully they don't call back.
Who was it?
Carrie. All right, so I want this tree to be a little bit fatter, so I'm going to go out a little bit more. Okay, a little bit darker. I want it just a little bit darker. Now, one thing I want you to notice is I do not want it completely green. If you have gone in and you have done this, I don't know if you're practicing with me or not, but I'm going to show you what not to do. Okay? This is an old canvas. I was trying to cover it up. This is going to be what not to do. Okay, this is what not to do. Now, this, I'm going to tell you how I'm doing this. What not to do is fill it up, push really hard, and fill it up where you can't even see the white behind it. Look at the difference. Okay, I was hardly touching my canvas. I'm just touching with the tips of the paintbrush. I'm leaving some white in the background, and I'm not filling the whole thing in like this is filled in. Okay, so this is the no, and this is the yes. All right. Pam had a question. I don't know where Pam's. Pam, can you do this with a new brush if you don't have old ones? Yes, you can absolutely do it with a new brush. And I will show you that as well. Okay, so I'm going to take another paintbrush, a new paintbrush. Let's see. Ooh, this is another good old one that I have here. Let's take a filbert brush that's new. And let's do the same thing. Okay, this one is fairly new. This one is almost brand new, actually. Okay, and I'm gonna start on another tree. This is only our first layer, by the way. We have a bunch of layers. Okay, filling up the filbert brush, filling it up both sides, lots of paint, and I'm gonna start at the top. And I'm just gonna start. Michael's here, by the way, y'all. You can say hello.
Trying to log in.
He's trying to find us.
Trying to get it.
So I have just a teeny bit of an angle on the brush, and I can't use this brush straight up and down because it'll just make little bitty lines. Because it's brand new and it's still kind of flat, I'm using it just a little bit more on an angle. Let's make this one not as thick. So this tree, it's just going to be a little bit thinner. And you do not have to go down all the way. Not all of these trees go all the way to the ground, but they sure are pretty when they do go all the way to the ground, right? Getting all that paint. This to me is so relaxing.
Glinda said 50 stars.
Oh, thank you, Miss Glinda. Okay, so that's what a new paintbrush would do for you. I'm just trying to get some of this paint off of the paintbrush that went like way up into the body of the paintbrush. I'm just trying to get some of that off. And I want it a little bit darker. See how dark this one is? That one's not as dark. So I'm just trying to add almost like a second layer. See how pretty those, you can tell that they're like big, heavy branches. And that's what you want. You want that look of big, heavy branches. And if you've ever, we lived in Montana for 3 years. If you've ever noticed those mountain trees, they actually do, like their arms, their branches go straight out. They do not, well, some of them go down, but most of them go straight out. My favorite trees anyway. The branches go straight out. So you don't have to angle your trees too much. You can let your branches go horizontal. It does not look bad at all when you do that. Okay, so that is my first layer of my trees.
Louise had a question.
Yes.
Are you adding a little bit of water to your brush as you go?
Yes, I am. I am. And if you don't want to use water, which another option is, which would actually be better, but if you don't want to use water, let me just show you. I'm trying to find it. It has stuff all over the place. Oh, here it is. You can use a medium. And a medium is basically just a way to keep your paint moist. It would be this is a slow drying medium. Instead of using water, if you use this instead of water, it keeps the green pigment the color that you want it to be. If you use water, what water does to your pigment, and by the way, pigment is what they call the, I know I'm not going to say the right word, but I'm going to try to get you to explain it. It's the strongness of the hue of the color. Like it's just, it makes
prominent.
It makes the color really strong and vibrant.
Most prominent.
Not necessarily most prominent.
I think prominent is the right word.
You think prominent is the right word?
Yes.
Okay. So if you want your trees to be a really, really vibrant green and stay that same color as what the color is that comes out of the tube, then you would want to use a slow drying medium. But if you don't mind your paints getting a little bit like losing some of the pigment, you can use water, and it's going to kind of break up the color a little bit, and it's not going to be as vibrant. So I hope that makes sense. Okay.
Prominent's definitely the right word.
Prominent is the right word?
Yes.
Okay.
Like that dude had big eyes, like a lobster. They're prominent.
Prominent, okay.
But I didn't use the word prominent, so I probably should have used the word prominent in that sentence.
Okay. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back and we're going to start again. But this time, I'm going to use a little bit of white here. This time we are going to take our paints, which by the way, I really like this sap green hue. We're going to take our paints, I need a little bit more. And I'm going to take a little bit of white in it, and I'm going to calm it down to another shade of green. Okay. So I'm just pulling in some white and I'm pulling in some green. And I'm just making it a little bit lighter. And then now this time, what I want to do is I do not want to touch every single spot that I've already touched. So I'm strategically placing this medium color almost, I'm dodging the dark green areas. I do not want to hit the dark green areas. I just want to hit kind of around them a little bit.
Shay sent 200 stars.
Thank you, Miss Shay. You are so sweet.
Crazy.
So
Yeah, it's awesome.
see how I'm doing the same thing, but I'm not doing it as much. And I'm just kind of placing them. I'm covering up some of the little white spots. Not all of them, but I'm just coming back in. Kind of filling in, making it look a little fuller. Get a little more fullness in there.
Question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sandy says, when I try to paint my trees, my branches don't look like leaves, LOL. They look like lines.
Okay. Don't look like leaves.
Like, branches. They look like just lines.
So, what kind of brush are you using? Let's ask that first. Okay, now I'm gonna do this one. You see how I'm strategically coming in here. I'm just filling up some of the white areas, but I don't want to hit these dark green areas too much. I want to just kind of fill in. The second layer is definitely not as
Prominent.
you're not putting as much paint on your surface as you did the first time. So what kind of brush are you using, Sandy? Okay, I like this one better. Isn't this one? That one looks really, really good. So the new brush seems to have done a better job. Okay.
That's beautiful, actually.
Yeah, and each time you paint a tree, they're gonna look different every single time. They're not all gonna look exactly alike. All right? Yes.
Sherry says, do you have a paint brand preference? If so, which one, and how do you know which one is best?
Through a lot of painting, I started with craft paints, and then I worked my way up to like student grade professional paints. And this is kind of like a student grade professional paint. It's a Liquitex brand, but it's a basic acrylic. You also have this is a Liquitex brand, but it's a heavy body acrylic. So I've worked my way up to my favorite being Liquitex and Golden. Golden is probably my most favorite because it's very, very milky and soft, and I like that feel of paint. I also like heavy body the best because I like texture in my paintings. If you don't want texture in your paintings, then you can buy things like this. You can buy fluid acrylics or soft body acrylics, and your paintings are going to come out more you're not going to be able to see brush strokes if you use stuff like this. Okay? I love the texture component of painting, so that's why I use the heavy body.
Jen Rose Mosby Smith just sent you 100 stars.
Thank you, Miss Rose. You're very sweet. You're very kind. Wow. All right, now I'm going to go back to the new Filbert brush, and I'm going to try that one again. And I'm going to grab some of this lime green, and I'm going to go for layer 3. Okay, and this lime green, by the way, is just a Liquitex basic acrylics, which you can see I buy at Hobby Lobby for $4.99. These are hardly ever on sale at Hobby Lobby. But you can also buy, I'll show you this one. Because we're not, budget is important if you're looking at paints. And this is a good brand as well. This is a Hobby Lobby brand, and it's a Master's Touch brand. And it's also a light olive green. And it says it's $5.99, but Master's Touch every other week has like a 40% off sale. So you can get stuff like this for, a lot cheaper.
Jen,
So-
question. Stacy Bowen says, do you have ever used a fan brush for your trees?
Yes.
That's what she loves.
I'm not a fan of the fan brush. And I'll show you why, but I'll also show you how to use it. So we'll do that next. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm going back with a third layer, and this is the lime green. Light olive green. Okay, and it is kind of transparent. So I'm going to talk to you how I'm being strategic on this layer as well. I do not want this layer to be its own independent layer. Like, I don't want to put this green where I don't have any dark green or medium green. I want this layer to be a layer that falls on top of the other greens that I already have. Okay, and what I'm doing is I'm just kind of making it like some highlights on my tree. And again, the third layer is going to be a little bit less paint than I did the last two layers. And I want to share something else with you that I do with this layer. If you notice, this is like a super kind of like a yellowy green. And it's very transparent. So I'm going to grab some white. And I want you to notice what it does to it. See how it just brightens it up just a teeny, teeny bit? I used very, very little white. And I'm going back. I don't want to have straight lines. So I think that's what, was it Sandy had said? She's having straight lines. So if you strategically place your paintbrush to kind of go up, down, up, down, up, down, and not in a straight line, then you're gonna get a better look. So I'm gonna come over here and I'm gonna do the same thing again. I'm not gonna use quite as much.
Yeah, Stacy says she finds that Master Touch is a bit like Golden Open, and that it dries a bit slower than Liquitex.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, Golden Open is a wonderful, wonderful paint. Golden Open is a slow drying acrylic, but I don't use it when I paint live because I like, having the opportunity to teach y'all. If I use Golden Open on a teaching painting, it takes too long for it to dry. It's almost like oils, but I do like using it on just personal paintings. Okay, I really like the way this one's coming out a lot better than this one. But you see, you just never know. It just depends on what's going on at the moment and if you're getting the vibes right. So that so far is my practice tree lesson. And then what we're going to do is we're going to add a final layer with just a little bit of snow. I don't want a lot of snow. Just want a little bit. So I'm going to take some titanium white, and I'm still using the same paintbrush. And I'm going to come in here. Now my paint's still wet, so it's going to kind of pick up. And you may have to look up a picture, like what does it look like when it snows on a Christmas tree? Now, living in Montana, I was able to see that on almost a daily basis because we lived up in the mountains. And it's probably one of my favorite things about living there. Not the temperature, just the beauty of it. So you just kind of lay your snow on top of where you think your branches are.
Jeannie has a question, by the way.
What you got?
She says, would you ever paint a background and let it dry before you paint the trees to give it a color peeking through?
Absolutely, yes. That's what I did on the original. And I'll show you the original again. Okay, so I just put a little bit of snow on this one. I don't want a lot. Just gonna come on this one. You don't even have to put snow if you don't want. Some people don't like to put snow because if you're from the South, it's not necessarily something that you would see often on these types of trees. Okay. And so that's our trees so far. Now, let me address, someone asked about fan brushes. I'm going to show you all of my fan brushes that I have. And I don't use them all that often. Oops, sorry. Just hit my camera. Oops. Okay. So this one is a new one that I just recently bought, and it's not too bad. The reason why I say it's not too bad is because I want you to notice the thickness of these brushes. If you put them sideways, it's almost like a straight line. And if it's not a straight line, I'm going to show you on a piece of canvas. Okay. So
Did you miss the snow, baby? The look of it.
I miss the look of it. Yes, that's about it. I can't say I miss anything else about it. So this is what a fan brush does for me. If I use that and I dip it in the water, and then I'm grabbing the paint. I'm just going to show you different varieties. Okay. And then this. And then this one is my favorite because it's really, it is a Master's Touch number 8 fan brush. The bristles, I'm running out of paint. The bristles are super, like almost like pig hair. And you see how, I don't have enough paint to show y'all. Let me get some more paint on my palette.
Got another question for you, baby.
Okay, you see how this one allows my paint to go, it flares out. I really like that better. So what's the question?
Tina Bro says, did you paint all the trees with the same paintbrush? Sorry, I got here late and didn't see the beginning.
Yes, I did. Filbert brush.
Filbert.
So let me take you through this with a fan brush. This would be the fan brush that I would use if I were to paint this. I don't use a fan brush often, so I'm not the best at explaining it. I just don't feel like it gives me the look that I want. And I'm just gonna use it. I'm gonna make all of this. Just fill it with a lot of paint. Pretend this is not here. I just feel like it gives me too many like straight lines, and maybe I just don't use it right. But this is what a fan brush does for me. And if I want to use, you can definitely use a fan brush. You can use it all you want. You just tap away, just like we did with the Filbert brush. But I have problems with fan brushes, and I hope y'all can see. Y'all see what my problem is?
What number is that that you're using, the fan brush?
This is a number 4. I also have, it depends on the brand. Like these are almost the same thing. So I guess they're about an inch, I guess.
Oh, Tina asked, can you put the trees on the other side of this one to see the difference?
Yes, I will in just a second. So this is what I get when I use a fan brush. And this is what I get when I use a filbert brush. So a fan brush is beautiful. It does. It gives you a beautiful tree, and you can absolutely use a fan brush. But I like these trees better. See the difference? Now that's the no. That's how we don't want to make a tree. And I cannot get this look with a fan brush. I've tried and tried and tried. So I've gone to a filbert brush to get that look. And a filbert brush is my favorite tool, if you were wondering. I just can't get that look with a fan brush. Does that make sense?
I think it's what you like.
Yeah, it's absolutely what you like. And I have a lot of paintings that I did use a fan brush to make my trees, and it works fine. Especially like your cypress, if you make cypress trees, and then you can take the fan brush. We're not making cypress trees today, but I'm just going to show you a little bit. If you did make cypress trees, one other thing great about a fan brush is like you can take it and you can pull it down like this, and you can make your moss on your cypress trees.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So there are a lot of benefits to a fan brush. They're not my tree making brush. So yeah, there's that. Okay, so we're gonna make one more just to practice one more time, and just to recap what we did. Let's go back to the basics and let's start over. And I'm going to make this tree, because I have other trees in this same area, I'm gonna make this tree stand out a little more. And in order to do that, I'm gonna use a little bit of a different variety of greens so that they don't all mesh together. Because if I continue to make all three of these trees next to each other the same exact color, then they're gonna blend. They're just gonna fight with each other so much that you're not going to be able to identify which tree is which. Okay, so when I make this one, oh, Michael's waving at me. Yes, Michael?
Gigi says, how do you know when to use a soft, medium, or firm filbert brush?
It depends on what your final product is that you're trying to create. Do you want texture? Do you want a soft finish to your painting? Are you using a heavy body paint where, if you're using, in my case, when I'm using a heavy body paint, I have to use kind of a brush that's going to allow my bristles to be kind of stiff to get that paint off of the paintbrush. Okay, if you're using, there's all different kinds of acrylics that you can use. There's like 5 different kinds of acrylics. You can use soft body, you can use ink acrylics, you can use what is this one called? Fluid acrylics. I always buy tons of white in all different types of acrylics. So it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish on your painting. Everyone's going to be different. There's no like one rule. Okay, so this tree is going to be in front of the other 2. And I'm going to grab some more white and I'm going to make it a lot lighter. And I'm going to add a little bit, I'm going to be a little brave here. I'm going to add a little bit of a different shade of green so that I can get, now this green that I just used is a chromium oxide green. So it's more of that grass green color. And I'm going to mix some of those colors together and then watch what's going to happen. You're going to see this tree, because it has different colors on it, It's gonna come in front
Melissa Grace just signed up.
for the pop-up paint party.
I believe so.
Yay! Yes, this is a practice painting for the pop-up paint party, by the way. I don't think I've mentioned that yet.
Jen, real quick off the top of your head, what kind of filbert brush are you using for the trees?
Oh goodness, let's see. This one has no name left on it,
Never heard of that.
but I can give you an idea. Most of my paintbrushes that I use, I buy from Hobby Lobby, which is the Fine Touch brand, and it's just, you know, filbert brush is a filbert brush. It's just different sizes. Let's see. This is another brand that I use a lot. It's Zen Royal and Langnickel, which is from Michaels. It is a level 2 acrylic paintbrush. I buy my paintbrushes in a set or as individual paintbrushes. But the sets that I buy, I do not buy in the craft section of Michaels or Hobby Lobby. The sets that I buy are in the professional paint area, and you can buy like a pack of paintbrushes in the professional paint area. They're like $14.99 for a pack, and you get like 7 or 8 paintbrushes. Tina wants to know what's the white bowl that I dipped my paint in. This is my slow drying medium, Tina.
Oh, what's in the white bowl?
Yeah, that's my slow drying medium. It's like just a clear, almost like a milky substance. Now, I want to tell you something that I know happens to a lot of first-time tree makers. They go a little crazy, and then they realize, oh, my tree looks like a big blob because I have too much paint on it. Well, let me just give you a little secret. Let me show you what to do. So let's say that you did this, okay? Let's say you did this, and you're like, oh my gosh, my tree is just a big blob, and I don't know what to do. So let me show you how to fix it. You know, one of the miracles of acrylic paints is that, I'm going to use a little bit of smaller brush, is that we can cover up our boo-boos by just adding more layers of paint. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to use, let me do this. I'm going to get a little crazy here.
Oh, calm down, Jim.
We're going out on a limb here. We're going to get a little crazy. I'm going to show y'all how we're going to make this look like there's some sky behind it. So I'm going to make a sky color. Just taking a little bit of blue. And I'm going to come in here and I'm going to say, hey, tree, I don't want you to be so fat and full. So
Never wrong with being fat and full.
I'm going to start coming back in here, and basically I'm telling this tree, all right, I'm giving you your life back, and I am creating, like, let's pretend this is all sky back here. This is all sky. What?
Cindy said, we're getting crazy. And Wilson says, talk her down, Michael.
This is what you get when you join the tribe, y'all. I just want to let you know, because Michael helps me with the law, so we laugh a lot when we're doing stuff. Okay, and we talk a lot about food, and what else do we talk? The weather. We talk a lot about the weather too, so. All right, so I'm coming back in here and I'm saying, all right, I wanna liven this tree up because I don't like the way it's looking. So I'm gonna start over. And now I'm coming back with my greens in here. Michael is laughing hysterically right now.
Secret agent lady is crazy.
Wilson. The secret agent lady.
Yep.
Y'all are hilarious. So see how I'm reshaping it? And I'm coming back with some greens on top. And I'm going to reshape. Now I'm painting fast, y'all, because I'm doing a live, and I know that after like 45 minutes to an hour, y'all start getting bored. So
Hello, Sandra.
I'm painting fast. See how I just kind of livened it back up? So that's what you do when you mess up your tree. You can let it dry. I'm not really letting it dry right now, but because I just wanted to show you what to do. And then I'm coming back in. Let's add some of this color in there. I want to use a variety of colors. I want to use I like to say I use 3 colors. I use a dark, a light, and a medium in my tree to make it look, to make it have that dimension. You have to use different shades to make it have that dimension. So I'm really just doing the same thing over and over. Let's make it taller. And if you're still not happy with it, you let it dry and you try again. And add some.
Cindy says, I love how you're teaching us how to fix it.
Yeah, that's always.
That's one of your fortes.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's because I was a real teacher for 20 somewhat years, and I know, I don't know. I just always loved teaching. It comes natural, I guess.
Shay says, apparently I don't know what a tree looks like.
Oh.
Mine looks like a pipe cleaner sticking out of a stick.
But that's why we're practicing. So
right
you can practice. It just takes a while. Look, I promise you. Well, that's what I want it to look like, a Christmas tree.
Good job.
Thank you. That's what we're painting. We're painting like the fir trees,
Let's go eat
and see, we just kind of liven it back up. And we put those little spaces back in there.
Oh, listen to this comment. You ready? I always notice your teaching skills coming out. You were a great teacher and still are. Thank you, Vanessa.
I was going to say Vanessa.
I know.
Vanessa knows me. Vanessa and I actually taught together. Thank you, Vanessa. You are such a sweetheart. You are too kind.
What a blessing.
Vanessa and I go way back. I remember going on like end of the year teacher trips to Florida together, and yeah, fun times, huh, Vanessa? With Bobby and Dora and all of those fun people. All right. See, I just livened it back up, and now it still has, you can kind of see through it, and it looks like it still has the, the sky through it. So I hope that this has helped you, and you can practice making these beautiful trees. And I'm actually not done. I want to show you one other thing that I'm going to do with these trees. And we can even do it with this tree too, because this tree is not bad at all. It just needs a little bit of work in a few areas.
Kim,
okay.
We are glad you are here, and we're glad you love the group. You ought to join the pop-up paint party. And if not, just know that we love you anyway.
Well, and I have a link in the pop-up paint party sign-up page. If you don't want to join the pop-up paint party and you want to go straight to joining the tribe, because the tribe is $35 a month, you get the pop-up paint party for free if you join the tribe now, because all the pop-up paint parties are free for tribe members. So you can skip the purchase of the pop-up paint party and just go straight to the tribe, and then you can paint with us next week for the pop-up paint party.
So what would you, Vicky says her trees looks like centipedes. So what advice would you give for those who are part of the pop-up paint party and they know they're going to have to be painting trees? Can you, I mean, is it just practice?
Yes. Exactly what it is.
And so when is the pop-up paint party?
The pop-up paint party it starts Monday, November 7th, and it's going to be for 4 days. It's going to be for 4 days. And we're going to break that whole painting up into step-by-step tutorials to get the whole thing painted. So what I'm doing right now is I'm using a little bit of burnt umber and burnt sienna. It's kind of like a reddish brown. And for those of you who are from the north, my favorite trees are those ponderosa pines. And if you know anything about those ponderosa pines, they have this beautiful bright red bark. It's just a beautiful bright red. So what I'm doing right now is I'm coming in and I'm making that bright red base in here.
Oh, Cindy posted the link.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thanks, Cindy.
Okay, I'm just going with the center. I'm not worrying about going, I'm not going to be that specific. I'm not going to go on the sides and make all the branches. I'm just going to show you how to make that beautiful ponderosa pine look. Okay, you see what I did so far? It doesn't look right because I'm not done, but I'm going to do these, and I'm going to do these too. And I'm going to just find some little cracks in my painting.
Did you say ponderosa?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm going to make the tree trunk stand out. And don't worry about going back over your tree.
Sugar won't stand.
Oh, Sugar wants to come play with us.
Come on, Sugar. Back up, Stella.
Let's do this one too.
Come on, Sugar. If you call her, she'll come.
Come on, Sugar. Come on, Sugar. That's our cat, Sugar. Sugar is our cat. Stella is our German short-haired pointer. And Charlie is our schnoodle.
And my little baby. Sugar. She'll listen to animals. Oh, Stella.
Okay. So y'all see how I did that? And then I'm going to take my...
Come here, Stella.
I'm going to go back on each one of them.
Come right down.
And I'm just going to kind of touch up. I would let it dry. I would let it dry a little bit, but since I'm on a live, I'm just going to go with it. I'm just going to kind of touch up around. See a lot of paint again. I don't like to put a lot of paint out at a time because it dries on my palette. But what I could do is I could take my little spray and just add a little bit of water to my palette so that it keeps the paint a little bit moist. And I'm just going to soften up those areas where I added my The reason why I do it afterwards is because if you do it before, if you put your tree trunk in before, my experience has been that I end up covering it up in the process of making my branches. And it doesn't show anymore anyway. So that's why I go back and I put it in there afterwards. It just,
Yeah, Tina, it's a little blurry.
is it blurry?
Yeah. No fuzzy on my end.
Maybe because this is,
You have it on autofocus?
I thought I did.
No, you're not supposed to have it on autofocus.
No, like stuck on a focus. Is that what you mean? Like it's stuck on?
I don't know.
See how it just kind of. Let's do these. These are the. This is my favorite one. So
Yeah, it just got that way.
Oh, you know what? We didn't change the connection in the house.
No, but you've been painting since 4. It's 5:05 and it just got that way. Oh, but I didn't change it. You talking about the cable? No, I did not. I'm sorry.
Just going in here and just kind of filling in to blend it in with those greens. This is still super, super wet, so let's go to this one. This one looks dry. Just softening it up just a little bit so that it doesn't look like the tree trunk is in front of all of the branches. Just kind of covering it up and hiding some of the trunk with some branches and making it look more realistic. This area is not dry. It's a little bit too thick, so it's giving me a little boo-boo there. But once it dries, you'll see it much better. Usually what I do, if it's not dry enough and I want to paint on it, I just put a whole gook of paint on it to keep on going. Does that make sense? I just put a lot of paint on it. Okay, I'm having way too much fun painting these trees. I just want to let you know. And I hope you do the same, because these are super fun to paint. Now, one last.
Oh, trick-or-treaters are coming.
Where?
No, I meant people are having.
Oh, yeah. Trick or treat. We had trick or treat Sunday night here, so they're not coming tonight here. I'm just going to make this area just a little bit darker. And then I think I'm good. I want to bring in a little bit more. Of that beautiful olive color. You see how all of my paints are now just one big one big mess. All right, guys. What do y'all think? I think they look pretty darn good. Even these look good. So that is our practice. Let me move this out the way. They're a little bit, I probably overworked them a little bit too much. Like this one, I might come back in and open it back up with some white. Just give it a little more life. But for the most part, that's pretty much it. So thank you all so much for being here. Let me see if I can get us back on the screen together. Yes. Thank you all so much for being here. Michael's coming in as well. And Fix your hair. We hope y'all have a great evening, and we will be back tomorrow afternoon, and we're going to practice painting that deer. And Michael has something to say before we get off tonight.
Hey, so it's not a prayer like I normally do, and it's not a scripture, but it is scripturally based. You know, if you're experiencing stress, if you're experiencing anxiety, depression, anything of that nature on a daily basis, regardless of the reason, regardless if it's, genetic, regardless if it's because of the people you're hanging around or what you're having to deal with in your life, I would tell you, you must take time for yourself. Yep, painting is one of those things that you can do for yourself, but not just painting. Go walking, exercising, meditation, thinking on God's word, and just being quiet, listening to music, cooking, cleaning. Do something. And that's one of the reasons why Jen promotes painting, because it's not just painting. It covers so many bases of things: your mental health, financial health, emotional health, and spiritual health. And that's what we want to try to promote with you guys with all of this. So anyway, you don't have to paint, but do something.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
So make sure you go ahead and sign up for the pop-up paint party or join the tribe, and you get a bonus pop-up paint party Christmas cabin painting for free because it's part of the whole thing. So yeah, come on and join us, and we will practice our deer tomorrow. Y'all have a great night. Love you all. See you soon.
Mwah.
Oh yeah, we have another live tonight. We're going live in the tribe tonight to paint. So yay, I get to paint some more.
Guys.